Hey folks, it's Maxel here and welcome to another TEW2020 video. You join us today 2 weeks out from Fyter Fest as we embark on basically a new season of AEW wrestling, and yeah, hopefully put together a good card as we keep saying every single week. A pretty solid Dynamite last week with an 84. This week will be quite interesting because we have took a bit of a risk with the main event, but I'm hoping it can deliver regardless. As always, thanks for watching and we'll crack straight into it. So for today's show, we're in Tennessee. We're at the Memorial Gymnasium in front of sold out 10,990 fans, and we've always got a few dark matches. We had Killer Kross defeat Austin Gunn in 336, which was a 58 rating, a 66 for Killer Kross and a 42 for Austin Gunn. We had a matchup between Miro and Axel Jr., and it was a win for Miro in 9:13 by submission. This was a 57. Both guys didn't click though, so it probably could have been at the 60s. What you'll notice as well is on Dark, I do like to give them a bit of time because it can hopefully lead to some attribute increases. So if our skill set gets better, then obviously they become a better worker. We had a matchup between Tommy End and Brandon Cutler, which finished after a stoppage. Brandon Cutler was KO'd in 6 minutes and 45. Tommy End looked excellent. A 74 for Tommy End and a 22 for Brandon Cutler. And we had a terrible pre-show match as Brian Pillman Jr. defeated Peter Avalon in 9:50 with a Tornado DDT. This was a 56, 60 for Brian Pillman Jr. and a 43 for Peter Avalon. So pretty decent there, pretty good stuff, and a good one there for Brian Pillman Jr. And we had Hikaru, Shida and Kris Startlander team up, and they defeated the former Women's Tag Team Champions Ali and Penelope Ford in 8:35 when Kris Startlander pinned Ali. I'm actually quite happy with this, a 51 rated matchup there. Ali with the highest in-ring performance at 56, but Startlander and Shida not too far behind. And the main event, this is how many matches we've had on the pre-show. Jake Hager defeat Tyler Bate in 8:32 with a Patriot Lock, a 71, Hager with a very impressive 74, and Tyler Bate with a 62. Now time for the real stuff. So started off with Sami Guevara cutting a promo on Jon Moxley, and basically here just says, Mox, you seem to have a little problem a couple of weeks ago when you were facing, Jake Hager, and if you've got a problem with one of the inner circle, you've got a problem with all of us. I'll be honest, I don't think you're that much of a hard man anyway. I think I could beat you any day of the week, and I'm going to prove that going forward. So basically, Sami Guevara is laying the challenge down for Moxley if he wants to give him a match at Fyter Fest. So an 84, good solid start to the show, and that covers that feud on the episode. Then I had an abysmal matchup that saw mixed tag action, and the team of Shawn Spears and Cassie defeated the team of Yuka Sakazaki and Michael Nakazawa in 6:20 when Cassie pinned Yuka Sakazaki with a Hurricane Rana. A 48, pretty decent stuff here. Happy as I say with the work that Cassie's done so far. Shawn Spears has got a gimmick that's getting a little bit stale. After the matchup, Yuka manages to get kicked out of the ring by Cassie, but it then turns into a massive beatdown on Michael Nakazawa. He's attacked by not just Shawn Spears but also Hangman Adam Page and the Butcher and the Blade, before the AEW World Champion Pac runs in and makes the save, chasing off of his big rival Hangman Page and his posse of Spears, Butcher and the Blade. So a 53 here. A few guys were a bit underwhelming. Unfortunately, Hangman and Pac couldn't carry the rating a little bit higher, but hopefully exposure helps these guys in that segment. Then of the matchup in our women's division is we had Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, defeat Tenille Dashwood in 8:04 by submission. Just a 33 here. Despite them having great chemistry and it boosting their performances, obviously both are still not completely over, so we all have a few matches like that will happen. I seem to have that in most saves I do. And my WCW one, it was with the Cruiserweights, just a case of building them up to where the audience accept them for the level of overness, and yeah, I feel like that could be a great match down the line. But a good win for Dr. Britt Baker, and after the matchup, a wee promo from her, just basically being arrogant and just saying, should be paying attention to me shouldn't be booing me. You will soon realise how good I really am. So that's a 34 for that. Also in the women's division, we had Shayna Baszler defeat Sadie Gibbs in 6:26 by submission via an armbar. Just again keeping Baszler as strong as possible, apart from obviously losing her championship. But a 60 is good, 67 performance, and she stood out as being good here. We then have our matchmaker, Mick Foley, cutting the best promo of the night with an 87. Now what he says here is basically, Shayna, at Fyter Fest, we will unveil the newest recruit to the AEW Women's Division, and it's someone, well, they won't be ready for a match-up in time for Fyter Fest. We're having an event in the UK in October at Knighthood, and it would be quite an interesting spectacle if you took on this person in that match. It could truly be something for the ages. So an 87 there for Mick Foley's promo. Then had Priscilla Kelly defeat Anna Jay in 7:40 by pinfall. This was a 46. She's actually quite happy with that. A 33 for Anna Jay, a 49 for Priscilla Kelly. And yeah, I think it might mean possibly a Dynamite debut for Anna Jay, but a defeat here to Priscilla Kelly as the Dark Order member picks up the victory. Next up in action, we had an abysmal matchup that saw Abaddon defeat Big Swole in 5:53 by pinfall. This was just a 23. Abaddon off her game, both of them not great in terms of in-ring performance, and the crowd were turned off again because of two pre-show workers. But hopefully someone that we can give a bit of an increase to in the future. Another promo with Chris Jericho from his home in Florida, and he just basically says "Killer Cross." You try to make a name off of Chris Jericho, so many people try and do that, and you've looked impressive in your matches so far, but I should be back in time for Fyter Fest, so it's going to be give me great pleasure to inflict pain on you from the Painmaker. So basically just this kind of promo confirms Jericho versus Cross for the pay-per-view. And that was an 82. Again, pretty good stuff. With a quick matchup between CLaudio Cast and Yole and mahade, CLaudio picks up the win in 8:40 and 8 with the neutralizer over Big Money Matt. A 66 here, both guys pretty level in performance and great chemistry together, but it's just to give the TNT champion a bit more momentum. This actually leads to the Dark Order coming out, so Mr. Brody Lee followed by John Silva, Priscilla Kelly, Darby Allin, Evil and Stu Grayson, and he actually covers quite a few things in this promo. First and foremost, he says, "CLaudio, you've had a good run with this TNT championship, but I think it's something that the Dark Order would like to take, and I know just a man that's going to do that." And he turns around and looks at Darby Allin. We then cut back to the break and we see them all back in the Dark Order lair, if you would call it that. And it's just Brody Lee just basically saying, "Right, Priscilla, it was a good victory, but I see a bit of potential in that Anna Jay, and just look at what Abaddon done as well. We think there's room here for manoeuvre in the Dark Order, and we may be strengthening the ranks in the next couple of weeks." So he's basically trying to get into the head of Priscilla to try and get her to keep winning, and possibly in a women's championship contention. Then had a tag match. Actually quite disappointed with that, but it was a team of Wardlow and Ricky Starks, of course newly formed friends, shall we say, and they defeated Sonny Kiss and Joe Janela in 9:02, and Ricky Starks pinned Joe Janela with the Buster Keaton. Just a 53 here, Starks with a 47, Wardlow with a 61, Janela with a 58, Sonny was off for game, and that was just a 22, so a bit disappointing in that regard, but overall a good win for Wardlow and Starks. And after it, we just have a wee promo from MJF, and he's just got obviously Wardlow and Starks involved as well. So he's obviously the star of the segment. Ought to struggle a little bit, but it's just a case of them trying to basically brag and just say, you know, look, the three of us together are some sort of revolution together. We're going to take over this company, and this is not just the present, not just the future, sorry, but the present of AEW wrestling. So looking forward to that, and that's a 71 rated promo. We had Kenny Omega take on John Silver, and Kenny picks up the win, and a bit of revenge from what happened at All Out. He wins with a one-winged angel in 9:43. This was 66. Kenny looks excellent. Silver just with 25 and off his game, but I felt like this was a good opportunity to get Silver some overness just by the exposure. And our main event delivered! Perfect. It was about the good wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd, and with the Lucha Bros defeat Private Party in 13:43 when Rey Fenix pinned Mark Quinn with a Meteora. So delighted with that. 82, 89 and 87 for the Lucha Bros, 62 and 67 for Private Party. And yeah, overall, just really happy with that. And we end the show with Cody up on the big screen, and he says, well, you done some damage to me last week, Phoenix, with that ladder. But just like Chris Jericho earlier on, I'll be back for Fyter Fest, and you can pencil in now that rematch, Cody Rhodes versus Rey Fenix, and this time it comes to an end. So an 82 for promo for Cody, 81 overall. Show increases their popularity in 35 regions. I thought it was a good show. We obviously have rotated a few of the workers that weren't on the show last week. We're going to have the big hectic show next week as we try and get as many people on the broadcast as possible, because it just shows, you're getting people like Tommy End and Killer Crosser on the pre-show. It's really trying to get everybody fit in. Vast majority enjoyed the show. Everything else seems to be pretty decent. MGF says Big Swole is charismatic and Seal doing well. Billy Gunn says Peter Avalon's too small, and Taz says Jake Hager doesn't connect with the fans. And overall, another 2.91, so the same as last week. So overall, pretty good. Size wise, solid. We will be gaining like small gains around the world, but because of the limited network that we've got, we just quickly got broadcasting. For AEW Live, you'll see we do cover everywhere very small. So once we've got a bit more money, I can bulk up those places, then hopefully over time we'll continue to basically get there. And it's a commercial internet site we've got, not a subscription site, so obviously try to get that ad money. But yeah, that's it for this episode. On to the go home show, and hopefully we'll have a fantastic pay-per-view. So cheers for watching, much appreciated. See you soon. Bye bye.